everybody? Welcome to episode number 96 of the Daily BLP. Today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Thanks for joining us on the show today. At my left, maybe your right, I'm not sure, is Matt, the franchise Dugan. How you doing, Matt?
Doing good. Glad to be here, and we're coming at you live from the iPhone right now, which is cool. But no, glad to be here. It's a little bit of a gloomy day, but the weather's been oddly nice here, about in the 60s, so that's been cool.
Yeah, that is nice. It got nice enough for Denver to beat up on the Packers over the weekend.
Yep.
It actually got nice here in Wisconsin. It's 34, or it might even be a little warmer / cooler since it's the sun setting. But it was in the negatives over the weekend, Matt. Blisteringly cold.
Yeah.
Freeze your nose hairs when you breathe outside cold.
Yep.
And then it was like 1 degree yesterday, maybe a little bit above that. And now it's in the 30s. And we're supposed to get rain later in the week. So cheers. So.
Nice. Well, good stuff.
Like,
right in time for Christmas.
Yeah, that's what it's like living here. So anyway, how have you been, man? I didn't get to talk to you yesterday. How's your week off too?
Yeah, been good. Week's been off good. Had a good weekend with some kind of Christmas festivities. A lot of the lights are around the city, so got to see some of that, which was really cool. And then this week's been good. Just really in editing mode right now. Leaving this upcoming Thursday to go back home for a few weeks to visit the family for Christmas and all that good stuff. So didn't go Thanksgiving, so really excited to go here. So not able to, like we kind of talked about before, edit as much or as quickly as I can on a laptop just because of the file sizes and processing. So. Yeah. Just trying to get ahead on all the editing I kind of can before I take off. So that's what my week's been looking like. How about you?
We've gotten off to kind of a quick start. I can't remember what even I talked about yesterday, but had some stuff going on yesterday. Oh, we had an interview in, and then we also had a business review meeting with one of our IT clients yesterday. That went really well. BDR came in for a second interview, had him doing some calls. He made like 18 calls in an hour and a half or so. It's kind of slower than I pictured, but it always kind of happens that way. I never really remember to take into account that someone's sitting down in front of a CRM they've never used before. And I try to make it as seamless as possible, but there's always that. He definitely wasn't scared to get on the phone. He's got a great, buttery, smooth radio voice. So listening to his recordings, even though he didn't have any real meaningful conversations, I really wanted to see if he'd be willing to hit dial.
Right.
And knew the process of trying to get through receptionists and call trees and get to, somebody or leave voicemails or something. So yeah, he knew what he was doing. So that was good. I think we're going to offer him the role. Just got to tie up a couple loose ends, get his salary stuff right, and then give him a call back. He called today, I think twice, but I was out of the office and then busy right before the show getting ready. And so he's probably super nervous. You know what I mean? Like these guys, stringing me on. What's going on?
Right.
We're gonna call him back tomorrow and offer it to him. But so that's good. Still gonna try to interview for some more because you never know if someone's gonna work out or not. So I'm gonna take a few more interviews for the position and maybe even, hire a few more and see who does the best. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, definitely. Love to hear it. That
was yesterday. Today I was on the road. First thing, headed down to the Milwaukee area. Right outside of Milwaukee is a town called Waukesha. Might not be significant to many people, but it's actually, if you're a guitar music history fan, if you've ever, Slash, he plays a Les Paul style guitar. It's not just the name of a guitar. It was a dude. Les Paul was a dude. He designed, invented that guitar. He was from Waukesha. So, but that's where I was. We've got some clients there. And I've got a lead there. So last week I was in Beaver Dam, and the owner of that company also owns a company in Waukesha, and that would be included in the deal. So I did a network assessment there today.
Nice.
So that was fun. Got a smaller company, kind of handmade manufacturing kind of stuff. Really cool seeing that, like old school equipment in there, not like big, super technical machines with computer. Nope. These are like something out of the 1915 warehouse, like these old sewing machines that are run on like with big diesel engines. It's not diesel engines, but it looks like a diesel engine. Everything's like all cast iron, but it's modernized other than those, some of the tools that they still use to handcraft those leather products. So that was neat. Met the owner, the owner's daughter, and another leader in that group. Did some boring technical jargon type assessment stuff that technically, if I had a sales engineer, this is what he or she would be doing, but they're hard to find, hard to train, hard to keep. We don't have one of those. So that's me right now.
Right.
But it's good. I like doing those because you get out and you get to meet people. And the trick is I don't do them as much as I used to. And the technology's moved on from like 5 or 10 years ago when I used to do them all the time. So I got to make sure I don't forget to do some certain things and know how to do things the new way. So
right.
That was good.
100%.
What else was, came back and then had business review meeting with our account manager from Arsenal Business Growth, the folks doing lead calls that resulted in the meetings that I've been doing recently. So yeah, it was a good call. I think a few episodes ago I talked about, I think I did a whole episode while you were gone one of those days on making sure to hold your vendors accountable.
Right.
Because sometimes you get so busy you forget to do that, and then all of a sudden the results might not be where you think they should be, and now you got to have a tough conversation.
Yep, exactly.
So, when you have we have a monthly meeting, but a lot of times what happens with those monthly meetings, you get so busy doing what you're supposed to do, you jump into the meeting and you're not even really paying attention. They're just
right.
Blah, 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 things are going, how's it going? And you're like, yeah, okay, great. I'll talk to you next month. Right?
Yep, exactly.
And you know what? Last month, you guys you did the minimum of calls and you didn't hit the number, blah, blah, blah. That's what we had to do this month. But today's meeting was good. So
nice.
They've been hitting the phones hard. They changed their approach of when they're on the phone for us. I think it works out better for the Midwestern market that we're in. And they're seeing some good results and getting meetings on. So that's good. It sucks.
Very nice.
It's such a short month. I mean, I love December, but it sucks. It's just a short business month because when it feels like they have some momentum.
Yeah.
And like I'm off all next week, so they can't book any meetings for me next week. And the last week of the month, nobody's going to sit down and have an IT meeting. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
So that momentum might get pushed out to January. Once, in my experience, when you're booking appointments for new business, if you get out past 2 weeks before those appointments are going to happen, a lot of the times they're no shows.
Yep.
Or
Or
reschedule, and then the energy's not there and it's not as urgent anymore, or something changes, and then you lose out on opportunity. So that's what kind of sucks right now. We've got some really good momentum. So hopefully they can carry that through into the new year.
Definitely. 100%. 100%.
And then, so that took me to, I got back to my office at like 1:30 or 2 today. Got back in. My plan was to take the info from the assessment and kind of organize it so I don't sit on it and procrastinate.
Right.
But then other things came up, and then I ended up doing some work on our so I'm going to give the guys over in our India shop for marketing a new website wireframe to use to simplify our messaging on our Panatech page and then our Panahealth and Panaclicks page. I'm starting with Panatech. So based on that story brand framework. So I was working on the wireframe, doing some simplification of the headlines and some of the subheads and things like that. And I worked on a one-liner, and then it's time to get ready. I was doing that while getting ready for the show.
Right. Yep.
My day,
yep.
man.
Nice. A lot all over the place there, which you love. Kind of that's why you get into being a business owner, so you can dip your hands into a lot of different things.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, like dip my whole body into a like in Barbados or something. But
yep, yeah. That's a different story there. That's a different story.
So yeah. But you're grinding away on editing. I'm doing the equivalent of what I got to do in our business, right?
Right.
When you've got to just kind of put your head down and do that type of editing work. I mean, what's that like for you? Because you're doing it's the hands-on work. It's probably what you did when you first started getting into your type of work.
Yeah.
But it's not business growth type of work. Do you struggle with that, internally, dang, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of goes back to the saying that we talked about before, working too much, on the business, or too much in the business, not enough on the business. And that is kind of where it is, where, like I was saying, next year is our real goal is to maybe put a little more to the other people and delegate a little better. And I do find myself struggling with that a little bit, from the point where I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I know exactly how it is, things like that. And in my mind, I rationalize it. Oh, I'm saving a lot of time rather than shifting it out, and I have to go edit back and forth. forth. But I mean, if you're able to develop someone properly, that's the real way to do it. And you see business owners and great leaders, and they're able to, delegate and all that sort of stuff. So I do think that is probably one of the pitfalls of it. The other side of it is I genuinely enjoy it. That's why I got into it. So it's a little bit like, oh, I enjoy it. But, I know if I want to take, the business to the next level, got to learn how to delegate a little better. So with that, my kind of rule of thumb is I try not to spend more than half a day on editing, and, the other half on business development, stuff like this. This week's a little different because I'm getting ahead, but that's definitely one thing that's in the back of my mind. And, this year our goal was to grow our brand a little more, which we did well. And so next year, my goal to continue growing is probably bring someone on, maybe not full-time, but someone part-time, someone that, I can really kind of develop. And it might be a little more costly than some of the vendors we use, but, at the end of the day, it's going to be rewarding. So for a long-winded answer to your question, yeah, I definitely do. That is one of the things that I think can hold, Pivot back.
Yeah, it's the exact right answer. And it takes some kind of introspective understanding of business, and after being in it, like, these are the kind of things, like, it's so weird because it's such a simple of concept. They don't tell you, it's not what they teach you in business class in college or school or anything like that, right? You're learning some kind of technical things, balance book, blah, 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 base, but they don't listen, say, hey, if you get out of school and you want to start a business, you got to create a process pretty quickly to allow you not to have to work in the business as much as possible,
Right.
But I like doing some of this stuff,
Right. Exactly.
Like, for 20 years, I've spent, as long as I've been trying to do this kind of, create a business, I repressed kind of my creative side. Like, I used to like to draw and paint and create all this kind of stuff. But so that bleeds out sometimes when I'll find myself for 2 hours working on a thumbnail or something like that. Like, if I was smart, what I would do, instead of scrambling 5 minutes before the show to get the backdrop on the screen ready, which only takes a couple minutes, I would just have the process in place for for our team, for like Harshit or Manoj, to say, hey, every week, Manoj, create me 5 4K resolution backdrops, one for each episode.
Right.
They don't have to be crazy different. I'll let you know if a name or new content, we have a guest or something needs to go on, but have those created up by Monday and put them into the folder for that, that episode of that week. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, that might get done now because those guys watch the show and and create shorts. So maybe they'll do that for me. Guys, do that.
Yeah.
But I get so busy, I'll think about that when I'm driving, and I get to the office and someone needs something and I got to do this. I got to make a coffee. I got to sit down. I got to do this before I know it's 3:00, get ready for the show, 4:00, do the show. And I never communicated the things I wanted to get done for my team. Yeah. And I end up, then you get that, I just got to get this done. I just got to get this done.
Right. Exactly.
So I could, the same thing with this, the segment rundown is usually, let's talk about our day. Let's do a little bit of news. Let's do a little bit of sports, and let's wrap it up. Right. I can easily have Jamie or someone on the team look at my calendar, spit out the segments for what happened at the office today, when we get done, and then have this thing ready too. But I gotta get better. That's one of the things I'm usually bad at. I think business owners in general get bad at that because our mindset at some point when you have a business that's like, it's like, feast or famine. Like, when you go through a lot of those stressful times in business, you have to fight the urge to do things yourself because you feel like they'll get done right.
Right. 100%.
Because sometimes nothing's more disappointing than like delegating something, it getting done. And when you look at the result, it's like, that's not what I asked for.
Right.
When in turn, it probably is exactly what I asked for. I just did a really bad job of explaining what I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I tend to do that. Like I said, I need you to do this, this, and this. And I've got the vision in my head already. And I expect that I just gave them that vision.
Yeah.
Looking at them. But I just told them, the basics of what to do. I just expect that their brain's going to create what my brain wants to see. And it's not true. Yeah. So that's a tough thing to get over.
Definitely.
Anyway,
definitely.
On the outline. Anything else from today? No, we talked about the meeting with Arsenal. Those guys are great. Just to wrap up that whole topic, it might seem like I'm harping on them a little bit these last couple of weeks, bringing them up in the show, but they're the ones I'm most closely associated to. And they're the ones I want to work the most because I like them. I like what they're doing. I think they got a great business model. Excuse me. I like the guys that I personally get to work with, Ross and Roger, formerly Bob. Bob got in touch with me, connected on LinkedIn. Like
nice.
Said hi. He's doing good. He's working for Square.
Okay.
He's doing business development stuff now for Square. Not sure exactly what, but probably similar type of new customer acquisition kind of stuff. But anyway, I harp on them a little bit. That doesn't mean I don't like them. It doesn't mean that I don't think they're doing a good job. I needed to grow in how I managed that relationship. And I was not doing a good job of communicating my expectations. But once I did, listen, Roger, our account manager, did not get defensive. He did not push back and say like, hey, we're doing what we're supposed to do. Blah, blah, blah. He defended the fact that they're working, which they are. Yeah. I just had to communicate that we needed a reset because we had kind of got off the path of expectations for a qualified meeting.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of the path being here, being a single lane road that leads directly to our business's front door, it was like this multi-exit highway that maybe somehow would have got back to our business front door if the stars all aligned, right?
Yeah.
It was too wide of a swath to be considered and what we're doing is maybe 1 out of every 10 meetings was a relatively good one. The rest were like kind of introduction, or maybe someday if, again, the stars align, they might want to buy a project and maybe we could be in line to buy it. That doesn't pay the bills. You know what I mean? So first of all, it doesn't pay their bill that we pay for, and it doesn't grow the business. So anyway, moving on. Arsenal. I like those guys. So let's get some results. Okay, moving on. In the news today, apparently, did you see this? PayPal might want to try to become a bank themselves.
I did not see that. That's very interesting. We use PayPal for a majority of our things, so that's very interesting.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like 20 some odd years ago, this would have been like early 2000s when PayPal was pretty young. Jen had a PayPal account, I think connected to her eBay or something, and it got hacked. And they didn't really get much. They maybe got like $30 or something like that, and we probably got that money back. But it was when things were a lot less secure.
Yep.
And I know they're legit now, but I still, in my mind, PayPal is still that experience.
Yep, exactly. Get that completely, 100%.
It says here that they filed applications to establish a PayPal chartered bank.
Okay.
If approved, PayPal would offer FDIC insured savings accounts like a normal bank, direct lending products for small businesses like a normal bank. And we might, someday soon, companies like ours might be looking to PayPal to get some cash.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You never know. It'd be interesting. And I mean, they've got the backing of it, and it'll be interesting to see what changes between what they already do now and what being a bank is. I think FDIC insured savings accounts and things like that. It'll just be interesting to kind of see what really changes.
Well, when you think about it, like you said, okay, so your business probably bank with the traditional bank right now, right?
Yeah.
But you leverage PayPal for transactions.
Right, exactly.
Right. So what does PayPal have that your bank doesn't necessarily have is they have data that can see into how well technically on a day-to-day business you're doing with, your income and invoicing. So that could, in theory, I suppose, speed up access to, let's say, loan funds or things like that for a company like yours in the future that uses them for those transactional things.
Right. Yeah. And it could be too. I know, if you invoice someone and they pay via credit card, there's a processing fee. So maybe it's like if you bank with them, they'll take away the processing. Yeah, something like that.
And that could be huge.
Yeah.
Right. So that could be big. And if maybe more businesses, if they start banking with PayPal and you're banking with them, maybe that can do away with some of those transactional fees too. I doubt it. To some degree, maybe it'd be less. Maybe they could leverage that as a a selling factor, but banks live off of those fees. You know what I mean? So
yep, exactly. We shall see.
We shall see, but kind of cool. So keep your eyes open with for PayPal, and maybe we're going to start seeing ads on, YouTube or on the highway and stuff saying, "Hey, open a banking account,
right?
Get your small business loan or maybe your home loan with PayPal." That's going to be weird. I wonder if they'll keep the same name.
Yeah, be interesting.
PayPal Bank and Trust.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, if you get to your money quicker, that could be helpful.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. What's going on in the wide world of sports right now?
Well, I know we had a pretty big Sunday, so there's there's a few injuries. I know Patrick Mahomes got injured, Michael Parsons got injured, but then Phillip Rivers did pretty darn good, if you ask me as well. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's kind of stinks that they didn't pull that game out.
Yeah,
Seattle, even though I didn't want one to win over the other, I suppose, but just kind of the underdog story of old man Rivers. It does sound like an old man. He needs a beard. Old man Rivers, back, slinging. I was watching some of his highlights, and he's always had a quick release, but you can definitely tell his arm is, I'm not going to say weaker. It just I don't know if you watch when he throws, it just looks a little strange.
Right. Yeah, it definitely does.
Shoulder needs to get. He's probably hasn't been throwing every day in the off season for the last 5 years.
Yeah. So it's just muscle groups you haven't used in a long time. A lot of people were, that was the main comment. It was kind of looking like it was a little bit of a struggle to throw a spiral, but still did pretty good.
The dude looked like he knew what the heck he was doing, though.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Go from a couple days ago not being on the field to playing at the highest level.
Yeah, exactly.
Of professional football in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, how desperate was Indianapolis? I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know who their backups are, but how do you think they feel?
Right, literally. Yep.
Like, are we that bad that they've got somebody 5 years out of retirement to not even give me a shot? I don't even get a quarter. I don't even get, you don't even try me out in practice. Coaches, no confidence in me.
Yep, exactly.
And even those guys, if they have I don't know who's on their roster, probably should have looked this up, but their second and third stringer, they're getting paid.
Yeah. Yep, they are.
So bad to not even get put in as backups. And they're getting paid solid money.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. What a world.
It is.
But yeah, Mahomes going down, Parsons going down. This is the time of year, and I feel like it's more this year. Some big names this year.
Right.
But this is the time of year when the sport tends to wear on people.
Yep, 100%. It is.
And Parkins. I was gonna say Parkinson's. They don't have Parkinson's, guys. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Parsons, he's only been in a handful of years, but he's not a young guy anymore. Mahomes definitely not a young guy anymore. It's funny. I look at Mahomes and think he's only been in like 2 or 3 years. He's been in a long time now.
Yeah, he has. He really has.
I mean, he's past elite status. If he ended his career today, he's first ballot Hall of Fame, easy lock.
Yep.
I think Parsons is a force. He needs a few more solid years. The type of position he's like in my opinion, the defensive equivalent of like a running back.
Right.
It's hard to do it long term.
Yep.
Like someone like Reggie White did or something like that. When you look at someone like J.J. Watt, he had unbelievable numbers, but he didn't play all that long.
Right. Yep. 100%.
So, no, that's I kind of think the Chiefs were pretty much mailing in this year anyway. This year.
It looked like it.
But the Packers sitting down Parsons.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't look into it deeply. Is it completely deactivated now?
I'm not sure. I really wasn't familiar with that injury. I was
rest from the rest of the season and maybe have him for the playoffs or something.
Yeah, that'd probably be smart. I would say put him on the IR maybe for a little bit. Just let him recoup.
Because they could still win this division.
Yeah, 100% they could.
Huh. That's interesting. I still think probably so far story of the year it's got to be for this week, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, 100%. You don't see that very often at all. So pretty cool.
It'd be really cool to see, if he can get him to hold on and get into the playoffs and And how funny would that be?
Yeah.
Like, because what was his story for his career is he could never get to the big game.
Yeah.
Big game.
Yep. 100%.
Something always happened.
Always. Always something with him.
So cool, man.
Cool.
Well, what do you got going on tomorrow? Anything big or just more of the same kind of?
Yeah, more of the
stuff wrapped up.
Yeah, getting wrapped up, taking care of all the logistics as far as the apartment, the pet, just since I head out Thursday morning. So yeah, just kind of wrap up, get everything squared away, make sure everything's good. So just kind of take care of all the logistics before the travel begins.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I've got a kind of a continuation, like I alluded to earlier. I've got like round 2 of that network assessment for those 2 companies tomorrow. So I'll be heading out about an hour away from the office to get that done. It sounds like Jamie scheduled an interview for me not early, at 10 in the morning. So I'll have that. I've got another annual business review meeting with a client. So that's the name of the game this time of year, is trying to get all these annual business reviews in to make sure, I think everybody's happy, and then I'm going to try to establish quarterlies for next year.
Nice.
I'm going to let that fall off a little bit, but should be doing that. But
very nice. Well, good stuff.
Cool,
we'll love
man.
to hear. Sounds like, yeah, we're doing our thing, and glad to hear it. And we'll discuss more tomorrow about all the great things that happened.
Awesome,
cool.
Man. Well, we are right on time. It's 4:30. We're going to end the show on that note. Matt, thanks for joining in, and everybody else, thanks for being a part of episode 96 of the Daily BLP. We'll see everybody else tomorrow.
Take care, guys.